Good morning, Canadian Yarn Horde. My name is Alyssa, and as you can see, Salem's back there and Willow's right there. Today's a very quick video. It is this project video. We're going to do this daisy flower. I did want to say, if you are new here, thank you very much for coming. What I do here is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I like to do, I keep you updated on the bigger projects I have going. So that way you can see how long it can take in the background. The project I'm currently working on in the background has taken me about a week and a half, and I've only gotten about that much done. So it does take a long time. Sometimes these projects on TikTok don't show that. So I like to want to show the reality of them so you don't get discouraged if your project takes a little while. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I like to do videos like this where I do believe you can make them. This one came to me last night when I laid down in bed, and I made it this morning. It took me about half an hour. I'm very excited. I've been wanting to make a daisy flower for a while, so I don't know if anyone else has come up with this idea. I'm not claiming they have or they haven't. What I am saying is when I laid down, this is what came to mind on my pillow last night. So I had a couple of ideas come to me, and this was one, and I knew I could do that today. So I'm going to do that. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I very much appreciate you. I would love to earn a like and a subscription. If you are watching, I would love that. I would love to hear from you in the questions, comments, or concerns below. I love to hear from my viewers. That's always makes my day. I'm going to move you over to the overhead cam, and I'm going to start talking to you about the materials. Okay, so with this yarn, I did decide to use 3 different colors. This is the white, so it is a mainstays. It is a 5 bulky. They recommend a 6.5 millimeter needle and a 6.5 millimeter hook. I'm going to be using a 3.5 millimeter hook. This is the green. The green is just for the stem, so you can wrap the stem. Now, the stem you will need, and you will need a little bit of stuffing. I don't have my stuffing out currently. I will grab it in a minute. I do like to stuff the tops so that way you don't feel this. Now, these stems do not come bent. I did, if you have seen my poppy view video, which is right here, I ended up not going so well making the stem. It didn't go so well, so that night I had my husband come home and bend 5 or 6 of these up for me so I could do that without it looking too horrible. And all I do is just bend it over. The green I have is a 4 medium. It recommends it's 5.5 millimeter needle and a hook. The reason I'm showing you this, because I don't have a label for the yellow. I bought it about 8 or 9 years ago. I used it for a blanket a very long time ago. The label has been lost over time, and I'm pretty sure it is a Bernat or it is a Red Heart Super Saver that I got many years ago. So the quality of Red Heart is pretty good, but I do believe it is a Bernat. Whether it's premium or not, I'm not sure. But so all of these numbers should correlate to this yarn. It is called Patty Green. Like I said, I do not have a number for the yellow, but I'm going to move it and we will get started. Now, just to start, you will need to make 2 of these little yellow circles. They are the center. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a magic circle. So you hold the tail in between your fingers and you wrap around. I like to hold it a little bit down with my other fingers, pull up, and then what you want to do is do a single crochet. Now, I'm going to do 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now this is where you're going to pull that. Now you know why I didn't have much of a tail. It does get a longer tail after you pull it. So I do try to keep a smaller tail. You are going to slip knot or slip stitch here, which is, if you can see, there's a loop there. Bring it up to the camera, and there's another loop there. You wrap around your needle or your hook and you pull through both. I do apologize. Sometimes the terminology gets a little harder for me because I do both, and sometimes they slip. So now you're going to increase in each stitch. So we are going to go 1 single crochet, and you're going to do that again in the same stitch. And then you're going to do that again here. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and you do that all the way around, allowing yourself to increase each stitch, which will mean you should have 12 stitches. However, there is a caveat here for me. I do know that that is not necessarily a stitch. You can ignore that. But because I like how flat it makes my work and it won't curl it up, I will usually use that as a regular stitch. So I will have 2 extra, so that will be 14 stitches instead. And you slip knot there. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to darn in my ends. I do not like ends. Anyone who's been here any amount of time will know that I like to get rid of the ends as quick as possible. And that's because, as you see, they can pull out, they can open up, they can get tangled in your work, they can get worked in when you don't want them to. And my way of thinking is you're going to have to do it anyways. If you do it when you're working it, it's not so overwhelming at the end. Sometimes it's actually a lot happier to finish them. So we're just going to go 1 more set. And I'm going to pull through. And then I'm going to trim that. Now, I will link everything I can below the yarn. None of this yarn I did get online, so none of it I can link. The stems I will link. My crochet hooks, the scissors, the darning needles. I have a tape measure I pretty much put on every time. Now you are going to chain 2, and then you're going to single crochet in 1, and then you're going to increase in the second. So just like that. So single crochet in 1, and then increase in 2. And then 1, and then 2. Now, this is your final row. You're not going to do any more than that with the yellow. And then we're going to change over to the white. Now, as I said, I did come up with this idea on my own. I'm sure someone else might have thought of it. It has led me to come up with another idea. So I'm going to work on a slightly different idea for the future of a slightly different flower. I'm not sure the name of it, which is why I'm not saying it right now. So now you're going to slip stitch these 2 together. Actually, I'm just going to leave those 2 on. I'm going to grab my yarn now. Now you're going to chain 2. You're going to go in and you're going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, this yarn is nice, but it is a chenille yarn. You can use any white you want. That's 1, so I'm going, this is 2, and you're just going to work down the chain in single crochets. So you should have 5 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, and then you are going to go into the same stitch that you came in on as a slip stitch. So that'll give you a little bit more structure to your flower. You are going to slip stitch into the one next to you, and then you are going to chain 7 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're just going to grab each loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, as I said, 6 goes in there. And then you go to the next one. So that is basically what you're going to do all the way around. I think, how many do I have here? So we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I think I had 18 or 19. So around 20 petals is what I'm getting. So you're just going to continue on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you are going to single crochet all the way down. That's pretty much how you're going to finish this off. And I will come back and I will show you the next step after I get all the petals done. So I will be back in just a second and I will show you the next stage. So I'm getting here and you start to get a little too many flowers. So a great way to handle that is to not put it in the same hole if you don't have to. So if you're starting to feel a little clustered and you've got a little too many flower petals going, just as you can see, you just go to the next stitch over, and that way you're not getting too clustered. But if you want a really good cluster, do it in the same stitch. I kind of do both just because it allows you to have a bit more organic look in the flowers. So for that one, I'm just going to go in here, single crochet in there, because I'm noticing I've got a lot of petals here. So, and one thing I did want to say is leave a bit of a tail. You do want to leave a bit of a tail because you got to sew it up, but you are going to have 2 tails. So, because you have the 2 pieces you got to put together. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you just want to make sure that you then you skip that one, and I like to skip the next one, and then I do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, as I said, because I'm starting to feel like there's a little too many, I'm just going to go to the next one, and this will be my last one because there's a lot here. This one's a little more flattened out, so I must have actually done every other one as I came in, not realizing. I don't mind the little more crowded look, but just so you have both options, you could make 2 different colored flowers if you wanted to. 3, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're just going to put that in there, slip stitch, and then trim. Now, as I said, you will see a little bit of the fluff. It does tend to fluff around. You will get it. It is a chenille. That is just what happens with chenille. It isn't a horrible chenille. It really isn't. I don't mind this one from Walmart. It's Walmart's name brand. I would say, though, that if you offered me the 2, I would probably go with the Bernat Velvet more, only because their selection of colors is a lot more. As you can see, the fluff falls off as I touch it. And then you're going to watch more come off here. It's just the way it happens. And now when I trim it, you will see a lot more. Oh, that went well. It doesn't always go so well, nor does taking the needle off. Sometimes that's where you actually get it. Now, what I like to do here is I put the stem into the center hole, pump it through, and I'm going to have to grab my stuffing. So there we go. Just get it good. And as you notice, when you sew around it, it will be nice and tight. That was because how my husband actually did it. Like I said, you could just do that, but I'm going to put you on hold for a second and grab you some stuffing. So this is more than enough. And what I like to do is just grab it and roll it. Roll it into a tight little ball. So just a tiny little ball. Put it on there. Onto the back. And I do apologize if you can hear that. I guess Borden's actually having an ammunitions day. I've been hearing a few bangs, and so if you do hear it, I do apologize. You probably don't. It's pretty quiet to me, but I do hear a bang every now and then. So now you're just going to go through the 2 loops and through the front of the flower. And this is going to take a little bit of maneuvering with your hands. And then you go into the next one and you grab the next loops beside it. And yes, it is a little awkward with the stem, but if you just keep going, eventually you'll get to a part where the stem can be tucked in. And I like to have the, oops, this way. That's what I was doing wrong. I like to have the stem in the center. I mean, I'm sure somebody would be able to figure out how to do it another way. This is how I figure to do it. And as I said, you're just going to keep going. We're almost to the spot where the stuffing will start to, the sewing and the stuffing and everything starts to come together. And you just keep pushing everything into the tight little, just trying to get these 4 loops, or just the back and the front. And I am going to double back there because I want to make sure that it's nice and tight. I do that about halfway. Just go back 1 stitch and make a circle with it. Now we're getting to the part where, there we go. You just keep tucking in the fluff and the stem. And it is, like I said, it is very awkward. But I'm going to finish this off. I will come back and I will show you how to finish the flower off and we will be done. So now we're on to the last stage, which is the green. And what you want to do is I like to try to get it to wrap around so that I can come in here and wrap it tight and kind of tighten up that top one. There we go. Now what I like to do is just kind of roll it around in my fingers. And then when you get it, you just kind of shove it down. So I'm going to finish this off. What I'm going to do at the end is I'm not going to show it because I don't have it up here. My husband has a 2-part glue, which is crazy glue, and then you spray this. I'm not sure what you spray on it. It's called a bonding agent, and it seals it immediately. So I don't do that on the camera. But you're just going to keep winding down to get your stem covered. And like I said, you're going to glue it with whatever glue you have. I prefer a more crazy glue because it's fast. And like I said, I spray this stuff and it's immediate. So if you're wondering where I got it at Home Depot. They have it in, I don't remember where we found. I think it's with the wood glue, if I'm not mistaken. So the wood glue section, which is with the silicone and that right around the paint section, if you're looking for it. It actually is a glue that works really, really well for a lot of things. So we use it all the time. I don't know what it's called, but, and this is not like they sponsor me or anything, but I do, like I said, it comes with a little bottle of crazy glue and a bottle of the spray bondage adhesive, and you spray it and it's an immediate. So I'm going to finish this off. I will come back and show you the finished product, and I will be done. So I will see you in just a second. So as I said, there they are. This one, as you can see, is a little bit more full. So it's every stitch. And this one's pretty much every other. So it's a little more flattened, a little more spread out. But there you have it. There are the 2 flowers for the day. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to see you again, and bye.